Great, how you been?
Well, a very good evening. I apologize for the slightly late start, but I welcome you all to the Bedminster Township Committee regular meeting for May the 2nd, 2016. We have a quorum tonight. Ms. Santucci is excused. Mr. Jacobs, it's kind of appropriate, is stuck in traffic tonight, so we hope he's going to get here shortly. We are going to change around the agenda a little bit so that we can get to the hearing on from the DOT fairly early on, and then we'll get to our regular meeting as the night goes on. So can I get the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville, to the Bernardsville News in Bernardsville. All subscribers, and also posted here at the Township Municipal Building as of January 14th, 2016.
I'll ask you all to join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So what I'd first like to do is twice at every meeting, we open up, well, it's kind of hard to get to that microphone, but that podium there behind the easel, to any member of the public that wishes to make a comment. We do it at the beginning of the meeting, and do it at the end of the meeting. And it's for comment that isn't related to anything on the agenda. If you have something that's on the agenda, there will usually be time to comment there. In fact, there will be time to comment on the DOT presentation separate from this. So if anybody has something they want to share with us, come to the microphone, state your name, where you live, and have at it. Seeing none, I guess what a lot of folks are here for is a presentation by NJDOT, which is scoping hearing, and I'll let them do the talking, but I think we have to open the public hearing, so can I get a motion to open the hearing?
So moved, Mayor.
Second, Mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and who is going to be speaking for NJDOT?
Zoila, you can just take that microphone right out of there.
That one. Okay. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Zoila Mejia Ragona. I'm with the New Jersey Department of Transportation. I am the project manager working for the Division of Project Management. We're here to talk about for the Green Acres scoping hearing and take testimony. Before we go over the Green Acres impact, I would like to talk about what the department is proposing in Bedminster Township. We have a proposed improvements to the interchange of 78 and 287 interchange. I don't know if you're able to see this. Okay. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you won't be able to see that.
That's okay, I don't need to be on.
Okay. So,
Or the other thing is, you can put it right over there where we have no
Okay.
committee people tonight,
Okay, sure.
so far.
okay. Okay. What we have here is 78. Let's go this way, 78 eastbound and 78 westbound. We have 287 northbound and 287 southbound. We're proposing here, part of our proposal is a reverse loop ramp. Starts from a ramp B and it continues as a reverse loop ramp and it connects to 287 northbound. In order for us to accommodate this new construction of this loop ramp, to relocate this existing ramp, there's an existing ramp E. I don't think people see this, but there's an existing ramp E that accesses this new loop ramp. And we're going to have to shift it to the south in order to accommodate the loop ramp. The shifting will cause impacts to this parcel in this quadrant here. This parcel here belongs to a property owner, and part of the parcel is also as a conservation easement is owned by the township. The conservation easement is Green Acres encumber, and we're here to talk to you about the impacts to this Green Acres encumber property. To go over into the more detail of the Green Acres impact, I'm going to pass it over to Jan, who for the for environmental team in our department. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoila. I'm going to do a little statement here regarding Green Acres. Prior to submitting a pre-application package to Green Acres for major disposal of parkland, the township must conduct a scoping hearing to solicit preliminary public comment on the proposed disposal. In 2003, AT&T, as an addition of site plan approval, granted the township a conservation easement on 2 tracts within Block 71.01, which totals 14 acres. The township did not receive Green Acres funds to acquire the easement, but it is subject to New Jersey Conservation Restriction and Historic Preservation Restriction Act because the township received funding from Green Acres in 2003 for other activities. For the easement is subject to Green Acres program restrictions. The grants of the township's interest in the easement area constitutes a major disposal of parkland under Green Acres rules, and a partial release of a conservation restriction on the Act is 2.2 acres from 14 acres under the conservation restriction. The township proposes to compensate for this disposal of parkland by providing appropriate and adequate compensation land to Green Acres review during the application process. Prior to any conveyance of the township interest in the easement area to New Jersey Department of Transportation, approval from the Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and the State House Commission is required under the Green Acres rules. After the scoping hearing, subsequent 14-day public comment period, the township will submit a major diversion application and request to release the easement to NJDOT to the Green Acres office. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Meredith Hammond from our Office of Community Involvement, and she'll explain the scoping hearing process. Thank you.
Excuse me, can I have your name, please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Meredith Hammond of the New Jersey Department of Transportation, Office of Community Relations. I will be serving as the hearing officer today. This Green Acres scoping hearing has been scheduled to provide the public the opportunity to formally comment on the proposed disposal of property owned by Alferi Little Falls, LC, as a conservation easement conveyed to the township for the benefit of the Route 287, 78, I-287, 202, 206 Interchange Project in the Township of Bedminster, Somerset County. The Town of Bedminster intends to submit an application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's Green Acres program to dispose of a 2.2 acres of conservation easement encumbered property, constituting a portion of the 14.083 acre property situated at 20 Route 206, also known as a portion of Block 71.01, Lot 1 on the tax maps of Bedminster Township for use in conjunction with the proposed construction of the Route 287, 78, I-287, 202, 206 Interchange Project. As compensation for the proposed 2.2 acre disposal, the Township of Bedminster proposes to obtain a replacement parcel from the DOT. Individuals wishing to give testimony on the proposed property disposal is invited to do so at today's scoping hearing. You will be allotted 5 minutes to present your oral testimony. All testimony will be recorded by a stenographer. Individuals who wish to submit written testimony may do so, sending them to Judy Sullivan, Township Administrator at 1 Miller Lane, Bedminster, New Jersey, 07921. Please send a copy of any submitted written comments to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program, Bureau of Legal Services and Stewardship, P. Box 412, New Jersey, 08625-0412. Written comments on the proposed property disposal will be accepted until May 16, 2016, at which time the hearing record will be closed. Anyone wishing to make oral testimony at the time, please come forward one at a time, state your name, and begin to take a 5-minute testimony. Thank you.
Am I supposed to call anybody that wishes to comment? I can't even see if anyone's at the dais
Can ask a question, too, if you
or
like.
ask questions. Yeah, this is a good time.
I have a couple questions.
Come up to that microphone so you can be recorded.
Yep.
State your name and your address and statement or ask a comment.
Okay. My name is Pete Siriano, former resident of Bedminster. I'm current resident of Lebanon, but feel concerned about this, being that every time I go to the pump, I believe I pay a tax on which this is coming out of some of this. So I had some questions about just the overall project as to how you came out to putting it together, because I'm seeing here in the purpose to enhance safety and improve traffic operations. So I was just wondering, with that, you had some statistics around that as to the issues, what they were, how they were, and what you thought possibly the increase of safety would be. Also had a question about the continuous flow of traffic on 202, 206. You're coming off, because see that's being extended. So I just didn't know what the statistics around what that increase was and how it's going to improve, because it seems like it's the light that really holds that up once they get off. And I also had a question regarding if anybody looked into the history of this, because the ramp used to go 78 eastbound to 87, where you're putting it used to be there, and we undid that. How many years ago we undid that, and it seems like you're going to be just doing the same thing again. So as I look at this, and I was just back in Jersey 12 years, I lived in Boston and lived the Big Dig. It was a lot of money, and in the end, it was almost the same number of lanes going north and south, and there really was no increase of anything after all was said and done. So as I'm looking at this, I have questions and maybe a little bit of concern that it's, when I look at this, it looks like it's going to be the same number of lanes going north, south, east, and west, and a lot of money later. So I just didn't know if anybody could address any of those questions, especially just sort of the history of redoing this whole thing over again. A couple questions there.
Pete, just spell your name
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
for the stenographer.
It's Cirgano.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, I'm going to clarify just a few things.
Sure.
By all means, after the public hearing, our engineers are here to answer questions or to at least be able to get your information to get back to those answers, because some of our designers are not here. This particular hearing is for the Green Acres solely. So it really is to hold accountable to DEP to take care of that. No, because they're good questions. Zula needs to hear those questions, and Zula and her team, the project team, can definitely get you those answers. I'm just saying that right now, the particular engineers we need to have in place and with the particular type of traffic analysis you would like to have, we don't have that information here for you. to provide those answers, but we can get the answers for you, okay? So if there's a Green Acres comment, no, that's good. If there's a Green Acres comment, you definitely want to take that down. Thank you. And anybody has a question when we're done, can meet us in the back if it's engineering. We won't leave right away.
Anybody else? Okay. Is there anything else we need to do then on this? Okay. Is there anybody from the dais that has a question?
I was just going to say that, what much thought have we been given to identifying the other parcel that has to be swapped out?
We have the,
Been identified yet, or?
hasn't that been identified?
The New Jersey Department of Transportation has identified some potential parcels, but they also need to go through our right-of-way process to see whether the monetary amount matches what the value of the land that is being taken under the conservation restriction, and also the area has to be at a certain ratio for DEP replacement. So once that is finalized within DOT, because we don't want to just put something to you and then say, oh, we're sorry, it didn't meet the value, or we need something additional. We want to have that finalized, and then once that is available, that will be presented to the township. And the township does have to agree to what DOT is proposing, as well as DP has to also agree as to what is being proposed. So that answered your question?
Partially, yeah. And I guess a follow-up would be, in your experience, I'm sure this is not the first time a situation like this has existed where you've had to have the scoping hearing and you've had to swap out a parcel because construction was going to go through an environmentally restricted area. When you're in your experience in situations similar to this, I assume that there's always been a parcel that's been identified, because I'm assuming that if you can identify a parcel, the whole thing comes to a screeching halt.
That is correct, because DEP does not allow the state money to just disappear. State money was provided to the township. It had to be accounted for by replacing land, replacing value back to the Green Acres program, and that's why it does go through the State House Commission, because we are transferring state-owned, essentially, property that will become state-owned property again, that the township will, be owning.
Now, realizing that there still could be a potential change in the scope or the location of that property, I know at the meetings we've had, there was something that was identified as what we were pretty sure it was going to be. Is it irresponsible to point that out? I don't know. I'm asking. I'm just asking because it was something that we had talked about.
Right now, we prefer to continue investigating and
Okay.
get back to you on that. We don't want to give you an answer that
Might
change in the
okay.
future.
Right.
And also, I just would like to say, this is the scoping hearing. There are additional parts of this process, and I believe there is another hearing before the final application does go to DEP. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there's another opportunity, and there are opportunities for public information centers. This is just for the Green Acres.
You may have, this may have been addressed in some of the opening comments that were made, the boilerplate that was read, but for my benefit and perhaps others, I'm a little unclear on what the purpose of this evening is. Is it to solicit concerns or objections? Because it doesn't seem like there's a specific proposal or solution. This is just, what, a status report, or what is this?
This is a requirement from DEP Green Acres program. When it has been determined that a Green Acres encumbered parcel is going to be an out of Green Acres encumbrance, sorry for the the
Yeah,
terms,
okay.
and is going to be turned into a different type of use. In this case, it's going to be a transportation use by turning it into a ramp.
Mhm.
The first step is meeting with the township and explaining that we've discovered, DOT has discovered, this is going to occur. Next step is the scoping hearing.
Okay.
And the next step after that, after we take comments and any questions, we address them to DEP, and then a pre-application package is completed. During my experience, the Department of Transportation prepares that package for the town or the township because of the expertise that is needed to prepare that package. It's usually not held by the township.
Okay.
It's presented to the township, it has to have the township approval, and the township formally submits it to DEP. That's why we were referencing the township applying to DEP.
Okay. There's no, from an administrative procedures standpoint, there's no prejudice here for failure to raise objections during this hearing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
This is just so that, for transparency,
Right.
so that when an easement and preserved land is removed from that preservation, that nobody thinks that we're all behind a closed door making a deal, and all of a sudden, what happened to this public money spent to preserve land, and now it's not. The goal is to do this in a very open way.
And that's correct. That's why it's also posted in the newspaper, and why it's also part of an actual hearing.
Now, having said that, and I don't want to characterize why we have a lot of people in the audience, but Mr. The question is very valid, and maybe Zoila or Meredith can speak in very general terms. I know you don't want to answer engineering questions, and please nod your head up and down or left or right in the audience if I'm getting this wrong. I suspect there's a lot of people here that probably have just basic questions about the change to the interchange. And if that's correct, it would benefit to spend 2 or 3 minutes just on the movement of that one ramp, but just to talk in general about why the and I know we've had that meeting here a year ago, but for the benefit of the folks that just showed up here tonight and took time out, maybe that would be of benefit. Is that correct?
Well, if that's fine. If that's the case, can we close out the Green Acres part of this?
Because the hearing does have to be a separate entity
All right.
from anything dealing
Why
with
don't
the
we,
project.
is there anybody else that has any questions about the Green Acres portion, include Deus?
Just one more quick
Yes,
one.
please.
So just so I get the timing right, so at the pre-application, it's at that point that the other parcel is going to be identified or submitted, or maybe there'll be more than one parcel that admitted to the Township Committee for consideration. Is that correct? Okay.
Because that has to be identified, the mitigation has to be identified in the pre-application package.
Okay, fine.
All right. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move the motion to close the public hearing, Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, before we do anything else, and I know we have to vote on something, but while you're here, could one of you please get up and give us a little bit of status of the interchange and why the change is being made, at least in very broad terms. Uh-oh.
Hello? Okay. Your first question was why this project was initiated, correct?
Well, just a little bit more specific, because
Okay.
it's to enhance safety, and I'm wondering the benchmarks or any statistics around that.
Correct.
I wasn't-
So several studies were done in the past, I would say in the past 10 years. And we analyzed several alternatives in this interchange. I was not the project manager. The project was studied by different people. It's actually a much larger project, and this was broken out of this larger project. For this particular interchange, we studied several alternatives, and the objective of this improvement to interchange was basically to solve the weaving issues that were happening on 287 northbound. Weaving issues, yes. Have the ramp coming in 78 eastbound to 287 northbound. And there's a lot of traffic weaving across three lanes in 287 northbound. Correct. Right. Right. Very, very difficult. I even tried it during the off-peak, and it was kind of scary doing that, weaving across. And to make matters even worse, you have this incoming ramp from 78 westbound to 287 northbound. So now you're going across 4 lanes of traffic. And most of the traffic, based on a study, are trying to get off on 22A and 22B. And we also have some issues on 202, 206 southbound, which adds to the problem on 287 northbound. Sure.
So if you're enhancing safety,
Correct.
you would have it being unsafe. Do you have any statistics of it being unsafe?
Yes, we did a lot of crash data collection. We collected a lot of traffic data in the past years, so we have that. I don't have it with me because we were not prepared to discuss this today, but I can certainly share that with you if you request it. Okay, so improvement, our proposal, it starts from ramp B, and it continues from B. We are obstructing this loop ramp or a flyover, if you want to call it. Okay, we're getting rid of the existing left entry ramp from 78 eastbound to 287 northbound. We're getting rid of that because that's the root of the problem. And by constructing this new loop ramp, now we're coming in from the right side to 287 northbound.
Isn't there a loop that's already there?
You're talking about
Underneath
this,
the yellow, looks like there's an old loop.
yeah, that's an abandoned loop. The reason why we're not using this loop ramp is because it's close proximity to the one that's north here. Across here. So we introduced this new loop ramp here, make it more standard. This is substandard here. And like I said before, to accommodate this loop ramp, we're shifting the existing ramp E for south. Okay?
That's the one that goes on to 78 east.
Yes. And then we're constructing 2 bridges as of this loop ramp. Okay? We're shifting the road to west in order to gain this right lane here. We use the lane that was from the left side entry. We'll use that for the right side entry now. Okay? So we'll have to widen. The further here, there you get an existing ramp A. We're locating down the north. And we're providing an auxiliary lane on 202, 206. Yes, correct. In order to also solve the weaving issues on 202, 206 as well.
When the traffic off the 287 or the 202, 206 south, they're not gonna have to stop or yield and merge, but they'll come right through.
Yes.
How's that going to impact the traffic that goes right through Buckingham? I mean, water be jammed up even more than it is now?
Based on a study, it should work well. I mean, it's a good free flow condition at that point. So,
You'll get more cars stopped at that light because they're not yielding.
well, you have a stop condition, continuous stop condition there, right? Yeah.
One of the reasons we are shifting this ramp as you go south is there's a gas station here.
Mhm.
The driveway is right there.
Yeah.
The traffic is coming from the ramp and they want to go onto 206, but the gas station for the driveway. So for the DOT didn't want to buy the gas station, let it be. But we moved the ramp back. So there is some distance there. So that and they're providing a lane there so that you're not right there at the
Right.
gas station driveway.
That was a substandard ramp.
You're taking some of the gas station frontage.
No, we are,
Yeah.
Adding a lane.
Yeah.
we are not acquiring right of way here. We are just staying within the existing right of way. We are just pulling nose of the ramp back away from the gas station
With no extra lane.
with no extra lane there.
If I could interject,
We're
it sounds like
widening.
you're going to add to site distance there,
Yeah.
right? The ability to exit the ramp and have space to be able to go into the gas station, because people are coming off the ramp, this southbound traffic in that lane, and then people brake to go into the gas station, and you have other traffic that's going at a much higher rate of speed southbound on 202, 206, is that correct?
Also, that ramp was substandard, so now we're making it standard.
Yeah,
Part of the
improving
problem.
radius there.
Per the standard requirements by the department, roadway standards, it was not meeting it, so now we're making it to meet.
I mean,
Yeah.
what it means is that this radius, which when you are curving into 206, it was a tight rate. Okay, you have to come to our stop to reach there. Now we have a flat radius, I think it's 150. You can easily go without coming to a stop. That's the meaning of a substandard or standard. Whenever DOT builds something new, they try to build it with a smooth radius.
Would you have to stop at the end of that ramp like you do today to get onto 206 south?
I believe we have a stop.
So you
To
don't
stop
really
there.
have to. There will be a
Yeah,
there will
like
be
a
lane-
yield
there
condition.
will be an
Yeah.
acceleration lane that you can ease into 206 without coming to a stop.
It would be,
Yes, you still have to merge, but you are not coming to a stop here because you are going through a tight radius. And also, there is a no acceleration lane, is a driveway right next to you. When you come back there, you are coming at a decent speed, maybe 25, 30, and then there's lane ahead of you to drive into and to merge into 206 traffic.
Mayor, if I may, with your permission, I see a number of our first responders in the audience who I think have some experience with the weaving, responding to calls as a result of that along on 202, 206. So if any of you'd like to comment on your experience or the need to have this fixed, because if you've been out there and responding to calls for accidents, I think you're the expert witnesses at this point. And if you want to say anything?
You want me to say something?
Yeah, I mean, you've had some experience, Tom, with this? As far as calls or the issues that we're talking about as far as safety?
Tom Lynch, currently serving as the fire chief in Far Hills, Bedminster. We haven't had any issues regards to motor vehicle accidents on the 202, 206 area. I don't disagree that 22A is a tight circle, but I think based on the volume of traffic that causes the speed at which people are coming off that ramp to slow down. What's proposed there looks fine. I will tell you what does concern me is the new 78 East, 287 North loop. We probably have 2 to 3 tractor trailer rollovers per year existing ramp. To me, not an engineer, this loop they have here is increase our volume out to the area. I don't know if you're going to put rumble strips in there or how you're going to really force the speed upon which, whether it's tractor trailer or it's a personal vehicle, to slow down as they enter into that. But the one thing I would say is the existing ramp from 287 south to 78 east. So we all have that in mind. That's almost a full circle.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Just looking at it, that ramp looks to be roughly the same diameter, circumference, radius, as this new proposed ramp J. So we have not had, at least as long as I've been on the department, any rollovers or anything on that ramp D, the 287 south to 78 east.
Mm-hmm.
So if people approach this new ramp in the same speed and manner that they're approaching the existing ramp, then we might be all right. That's all I would have to say. And we don't have a lot of issues with people come off here, as from an accident point of view. We do have a lot of issues here. I'm a little surprised, candidly, and I don't disagree with the comment made as far as having to navigate from the left lane over to the right lane. The average speed of a car that's coming up 287 north is probably close to 70 miles an hour. I'm a little skeptical that by putting the traffic into this right lane, with the volume of traffic that comes off of 78 west to 287 north, that you're not going to end up creating a greater bottleneck in the right-hand lanes. And I found it interesting, I'd love to see the statistics, that most of the people using these ramps are actually getting off on 22A and B, because just north of 22B, basically from 7:45 in the morning until probably 9 o'clock, it's bumper to bumper. So people are definitely, I'm not disputing that people get off at 22 Alpha and Bravo, but a lot more people are continuing north. So, did it address?
Thank you, Tom. It was very, very, very helpful. Thank you.
You have a question for me, Bill?
I have a question for the engineer. Yes, sir. The one question I had about that, and the chief alluded to it. Thinking about this ramp here, spending some time in Florida, which I do nowadays, I noticed this ramp is similar to several I've seen there in the way you laid it out. The one thing I wondered in your statistics, have you taken any into consideration, this might be a loaded question, but tractor trailers coming around here, where we have the serious situations coming on 78 East, coming onto 287, presently is load shift. Those that we've had beer bottles, potatoes, just about anything you can think of down here on northbound 287 with the load shift. Now, engineering, do you take into consideration
Yes.
load shifts on
What
this?
do you call, that's called a reverse curve. That you are turning to the left here and then you have to turn to the right. The way we accommodate that is we put a tangent here in the middle to account for the load shift. So that the driver has the time to adjust
I
in the
see.
turn. So you can
Okay.
see this is the straight portion of the road.
Yes, I see that.
Between the
I see that.
reversing lanes. So that's how it's done.
So we're hoping here that with this, when we talk about these guys coming over, that this stretch right here will hopefully give them enough of township down,
Yes.
coming down. Interesting.
This project has been designed to the current standards. I mean, he was talking about the turning radius of this curve. The NJDOT these days, they provide 150-foot radius. That's the absolute minimum they use on the interchange. I don't know the exact number, but on this one, they provide a little more.
If you ran your models, and you see that the trucks did 10 miles over the speed limit, or your suggested speed going into that ramp, how many trucks would a load shift occur?
Well, I don't have the statistics.
No, but that's the kind of analysis, because no one follows, you know, most truckers are not following the speed limits.
Understood.
And so, you know, that's why we have the load shift issues, and, you know, as Bill noted, there are times, thankfully, we've had nothing serious on 287, whether it's south or north, when these trucks flip. We just lost, the most recent one lost an entire load of wood off an open flatbed of a tractor trailer, and it landed in between 87 north and south. So again, it's not as an issue with how you guys design it. It works when people are doing the speed limit.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is, they don't do the speed limit. And so whether it's 10 miles over or 15 miles over, then what does the analysis prove, the modeling, when people are on the load shift?
Number one, we do not design the roads for the people who overspeed. Okay. The way NJDOT does is, if you design this ramp for 25 miles speed, they tell us to design it for 30. Okay. So that's how we come up. Like I said, these loop ramps, they are always a challenge. You want to put as much radius as you can, but when you do that, it expands and it affects more right of way. I mean, in this hearing, just for that reason, so we have a loop ramp which has meandered into a conservation. So we have done as good as we could. We provide a little bit more than the minimum required, just to account for this trucks which are coming here. But otherwise, that's the current standard. That's what the state of New Jersey is designing for. That's what the federal highway is asking for, that you design these things. So the design that you see here is the state of art.
Okay, I'm going to just jump in here just a second, because it was originally just scoping for the Green Acres, and wanted to just get a little bit of Q&A for all the folks that came out. And one, maybe two more brief comments, and I know Meredith and Zoila would meet with folks out in the hallway. Is there anybody else that has a question or a comment? Please. Go.
When the construction begins, how's that going to impact the traffic on 287? How bad will the traffic be? I guess that's, will there be?
Are there going to be detours? Is there, yeah.
The DOT will be maintaining 3 lanes on either direction on 287. Okay, during construction, at the rush hour, there may be lane closures here and there. They don't close the lanes during rush hour, but when it's not a rush hour, they will close the lanes at that time. But you will see the construction. Yes. Make no mistakes about it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. What we do have is 2 resolutions tonight. One is directly related to the scoping hearing that we had. We also have another resolution which we'll talk about here in just a second. We also a DOT-related issue, which we also entertain at least maybe 1 or 2 questions about. So initially, what we have in front of us is Resolution 2016-058, and this is supporting NJDOT interchange improvement. I think this is in relation to the scoping and the Green Acres issue.
Is it 58, Mayor, or 56?
There's a 56 comes later.
56. There's a 58.
We're going to do 58 now.
Must be
'cause that's-
missing 58.
That's Green Acres scoping. And then I'm going to go right to 56 because everyone's in the room to hear from DOT, and if they have a question, or if we have a
there's
DOT
58.
question, that would be appropriate also.
I got it.
All right, so Resolution 2016-058. Any comments or questions from the dais? And if not, I'll take them.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Second.
This is a roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to jump, as we're just all over the map here tonight. Resolution 2016-056. Bernie, that was the one you were
Okay.
asking about, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Concurrence for New Jersey DOT repair replacement project for the Rattlesnake Bridge Road Bridge over I-78. And this is not anything we've talked about here so far. I will give you a quick and dirty, and maybe we can have 2 minutes on any questions that anybody might have. We talked several weeks ago about yet another bridge improvement in Bedminster. I'll tell you, by the time all our terms are up, we're going to have beautiful bridges in Bedminster. And with us for an awful long time, and that's good. And I believe it's in 2017, the 17 now, or is 18, I'm sorry. 18. Went 17 to 18.
18.
The summer of 2018, a resurfacing of the bridge over I-78, Rattlesnake Bridge Road. And we had some discussions with the DOT a couple weeks ago about how that would be done, and we have a resolution discussing that. Let me see if I can get to it because there was a couple specifics on there. And the issue was that shortly after, we were looking after July 6th to take the bridge down and close it completely for construction, and then reopening it shortly after Labor Day in one lane only. And the goal was that as school begins again, we gain one lane back, so to help the busing, and also it will mean the swiftest repair and the safest repair of the bridge. I think we have a couple issues in here. Whereas is talking about an emergency turnaround, U-turn, and there's also an issue regarding emergency backup to our traffic lights that are on the interchange. Does anybody have any comments or questions? I'll just take 2 quick comments from the public if anyone has a question about what I just said. If I wasn't clear, or this is a good time to ask if nobody understands. Or for dais, since we have DOT here with us tonight.
Yeah. Just for the record, Mayor, we've had a number of meetings with DOT on this.
I know.
So we've, just so everybody knows, this is a pretty,
And this is not what DOT was prepared to talk about tonight either, so.
plus a lot of stakeholders in the area, yeah.
And we've got, but I know we have some of the stakeholders in this room tonight, so I want to make sure they know that we've readdressed those issues. All right. If not, I'll take a motion for 2016-056.
So moved.
Second.
Be a roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you all.
That's all our DOT discussion for the night, unless you wish to talk to the team that's probably going to go out into the ante room if you have any other specific questions. And ladies, if you want to take your exhibits so that people might want to look at them, that'd be fine.
Went to a brief recess so they can repossess.
Yeah, why don't we take about a 5-minute break? That's a great idea. I'm going to turn off the on.
Are we on right now?
All
I
right,
got a couple more things.
we're back.
30 seconds.
We're into this. We haven't gotten to our meeting minutes yet.
It's going.
Feel a little odd here. Uh-oh.
I don't know what you did.
But yeah, we're going to call another audible here. We're going to stray from the agenda here. I would like to, because there are some folks here that have waited patiently through the DOT. We're going to move down to number 16, which is new business. And we have some folks from Bedminster Charities that want to give us a presentation. And I think Ms. Ray is our speaker.
I am.
Go ahead, Robin. It's
Hi,
all yours.
I'm Robin Ray. I'm representing the Jacobus Vanderveer House, which is a member of the Bedminster Charities organization. We're benefactors, and we are gracious for the support that we've received from Bedminster Charities over the years to the Vanderveer House. This was, I don't even know really the impetus of this, but it was just something that Judy and I really liked quite a bit. It's called the Fields of Honor, and we thought it'd be really wonderful to do here in Bedminster Township over the 4th of July weekend. So our proposal is to have a Field of Honor on Sunday, July 3rd, which would be a display of approximately 200 3-by-5-foot flags arranged in the north field of the Jacobus Vanderveer House in between Tar Heel Kennel. We would pre-sell the flags and beginning Memorial Day weekend at the Memorial Day festivities down at the Far Hills Fairgrounds. And the proceeds from the event would go to a very needy organization, the Somerset County Food Bank, which is really in tough condition in the summertime. They're at an all-time low in July and August. And just to give you an example, they do 882 backpacks every Friday to kids in Somerset County that are distributed, and several of those kids are recipients here in Bedminster Township. So we thought it would be a worthwhile cause of Bedminster Charities to give back to somebody that's even needier than us. So the member organizations are the Clarence Dillon Public Library, the Far Hills Bedminster Fire Department, the Far Hills Bedminster First Aid Squad, the Center for Contemporary Art, Bedminster School Parent-Teacher Organization, the Jacobus Vanderveer House Museum, and the Pottersville Fire Company. All of those organizations would be point-of-purchase displays for each of the flags, beginning, I said, Memorial Day, and we'd sell right up until July 3rd. So how it would work would be the week before July 3rd. That weekend, we'll start putting all the flags that we've sold out into the field. Each flag will have a tag on it. The purchaser or the adopter of that flag will have their own sentiment that they put on the flag, the tag. We will put that out in the field. They'll stay out for about a week. On Sunday, July 3rd, the public will be invited to the grounds of the Jacobus Vanderveer House and the North Field for a just very casual get-together. There'll be food and beverage for purchase. There'll be free music, and people will be able to just kind of stroll and picnic on the grounds and stroll through the field of flags. Cost of each flag is going to be $40, and I thought we would share a really nice visual, but before I do, are there any questions from you guys at all?
I just want to add something to Robin's comments. I'm going to show you was Field of Honor came from 9/11. Our intent is to incorporate that along with whatever else people would like to honor. It could be a family member. It could be a member of the military. It could be a member of emergency services. It could be someone that you've lost. It could be a member of your family you just want to honor. It could be for whatever your personal reason might be. It's not just for 9/11. What our memorial or what our services or celebration, let's call it that, will be on July 4th. So.
After expenses, I should just let you know, after the initial expense, there is a licensing fee that we're having underwritten by Investors Bank and possibly one other organization, but Investors Bank in Pluckerman is doing the lion's share, would be roughly exactly $3,500 if we sell 200 flags. So that's our goal, is to sell all 200 for $3,500, which would be a sizable contribution to give to the food bank. So do you want to, I don't
Need the lights off?
know how to set this up.
Thank you.
Just show me how to shut it off.
As Americans has been to make sure that the memories of those at 8:46 a.m. on September 11th, 2001, a chain of events was set in motion that within 2 short hours would take the lives of over 3,000 people in a horrific act of cowardice. That fateful day, America witnessed the inexpressible, the incomprehensible, and the unthinkable. The first positive image to come out of the terror that awful day was the American flag. Since then, our role as Americans has been to make sure that the memories of those dreadful events will never fade. And in that capacity, our flag has been a comfort to all of us. One of the expressions of that comfort is the annual observance of September 11th as Patriot Day. And because of Patriot Day, a new kind of memorial has emerged called the Healing Field. Swenson, owner of Colonial Flag, Sandy, Utah, had a strong desire to help people experience and comprehend the gravity of 9/11, and has given them a way to heal.
Right behind me here were 2 tall towers, the World Trade Center, and they're not here now. You know, the scariest disaster hit every home in America. Every one of us were victims that day. Doesn't matter where you were, if you were eating breakfast or at the barber shop or wherever you were, we all became victims that day. And I actually like to be called victims for freedom. I hope that these fields of flags, these healing fields, become to Patriot Day, September 11th, what fireworks are to the 4th of July. That it's a way for people to get with their children, with their families, with their parents, and walk and ponder and think about not just the victims, it's also to remember some of these larger issues of freedom and not take for granted that freedom.
Hello, America, from the Girl Scouts of Arizona Cactus Pine. It's a great way to honor our military soldiers and all those people who died. It's really neat. And it's good because if you get too hot, you can just jump in the water.
I saw a woman here last night who I had arrested about 2 times, and she stood about 3 feet away from me. And I'm sure she knew who I was, and I knew who she was, but it really didn't matter. Everything just stops while you're here, and it's a great way to remember that there's things that go on in the world other than everyone else's daily lives.
I would challenge people in a position to make a decision on whether to do this or not, that they look at the broader picture and see what it would do for the community.
You know, the mere fact that we were able to have over 500 people come together and focus on one project to get that done, I think that speaks volumes about the Healing Field project.
When you see that 10 acres of land are filled with American flags, you recognize the kind of dedication and commitment it takes to bring something like this and our community together.
It's been the biggest thing we've ever done, and we did a whole lot and invested a whole lot in our 50th anniversary celebration. This makes that look like kindergarten. Not only the work that was involved, but the backlash, which is good, that came back to us as a result of this project was much greater for this than it was our 50th anniversary.
We're just glad to be.
So there's a scene that's coming up here that was, there's a lot of towns throughout New Jersey that have done it. Perhaps you might have seen it in Bernard's Township as well. They do 100 volts on the flag over there. We just thought that we don't really do anything around here for the 4th of July. It seemed like such a great cause to rally behind, supporting another organization. And you have the best view on the side of 202, 206. And with the help of all the other organizations involved from Bedminster Charities, I think we'll do really well. So I just want to get your blessing to move forward with this project on Township's property, if you guys are okay with that.
It's spectacular, Raman. Coming for a
Great.
flag.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Sounds good.
So we have people here from Bedminster Charities that are helping us make the planning. And just, it's a great idea.
It's the village.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Okay.
5 minutes still.
All right. Well, now everything just seems anticlimactic now, because now we get to go to approval of the meeting minutes and permits and raffles and, all right, well,
It all depends on how you articulate it.
I guess I'll have to punch it up then. I'm gonna have to. All right, so I challenge this committee to approve the meeting minutes from April 18th, our regular and executive session. Any comments, questions, or changes?
On the motion to approve the minutes?
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Permits and raffles, a social fair permit for the Pingree School on June 27th, 2016, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Hamilton Farm Golf Club, and social fair permit for the American Cancer Society on May the 14th, 2016, 6 to 11:30 p.m., also at the Hamilton Golf Club. Any comments or questions? The comment I'll make is I'm only going to vote on B. I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor Parker abstaining from B?
From A.
A.
Abstaining from A.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, monthly report from subcommittee chairs. We will start with Mr. Payne.
Hey, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Quickly, because we have a lot yet to accomplish. June 7th, it's a Tuesday night, and that is the proposed date of our, I guess you want to call rollout or in public information meeting with merchants, vendors, and shopkeepers for the Bedminster program. Been coordinating with FinCredit on it, and I want to just pass these down. These are example of a flyer that we're going to be printing up. I'll be distributing them
What's the date again?
June 7th.
Isn't that election day?
June 7th is
Primary election? Is it Tuesday or Monday?
it is a Tuesday.
I will be busy that day.
Okay, because I looked on the calendar, I didn't see anything, and I thought town hall was,
That's the primary election.
okay, all right, then we'll have to reschedule it, but it will be in June. And it is land use board, right? So it'd have to be the following Tuesday.
Okay.
All right, well, we're going to come up with a date. Thank you for pointing that out. You know these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to hit DHHC, though? Meeting last week. Do you want to talk about it?
I talked with Judy earlier, and I figured we would table that for another time. Okay, since it's coming, it's off in the future. Anyway, all right, we'll come up with another date if, because that would be a problem, obviously. I'll have more to report on that as far as having that informational meeting, and we're already working on a sponsor for the cards, so more to report on that.
Okay, that's been light for me.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Jacobs?
On April 20th, we had the joint meeting of the Environmental Commission and Open Space. It was a good meeting, and it was actually the first meeting that the recent Open Space appointee attended, so we actually had a quorum of both organizations, which was a good sign. We briefly talked about some of the issues that we had raised here at the Township Committee level, including the potential placement of the 100 trees from DOT. There was discussion that perhaps the Hyde property on Spook Hollow, which is experiencing some erosion problems, that may be a good place to plant some of those trees to stabilize the erosion issues. Someone else also identified Knox Park behind Fresh Market and Pluckerman Park as another opportunity to put some trees in. The Environmental Commission and Open Space both agreed to go back, think a little harder about where they could find some places that might be appropriate for the trees.
And there's going to be an inventory walk of some of the municipalities' open space properties with both open space and environmental commission. So that'll be another good opportunity for them to identify some potential tree placement. And there, that's it.
Last couple of weeks, that same night, Clarence Dillon Public Library had their trustees meeting. Nothing substantial coming out of that. Also last week, the Board of Education had their budget meeting, and they have had their budget. It's like us, it's a tight budget for them, another tight budget year. They had to make a lot of tough choices, and but they, I think their, Marissa, is what is it, 2.7 with all exceptions? Budget? The school budget this year? I apologize. I'm not going to mischaracterize it. I got halfway through the meeting because I was Bernie. I had BHHC. I was just looking to give the numbers. I haven't. Anyway, they passed their budget. I won't put a number in the record if I don't know it off the top of my head. But they got through their budget, and that's about all I have. Administrator's report, Ms. Sullivan?
I didn't have one, but I got a note this afternoon from Jennifer Giordano, the superintendent of Bedminster School, stating that on Monday, June 6th, which is a township committee meeting, but they're having from 6 to 8 a faculty versus 8th grade softball game, and they're inviting the police department to come and members of our emergency services to maybe show off a vehicle or two and be cheerleaders for the event. So she needs to respond so she can send out an official invitation to everybody who might be interested in attending.
6 o'clock?
6 to 8, yeah.
Location?
At the school at the field closest to the cul-de-sac.
Good luck.
So, also reminder, if you have on your financial disclosure statement, it was due April 30th. So you can be subject to a fine if it's not completed. I think they'll give you a little bit of a grace period, but please do it soon. And just regarding the Field of Flags, I think because we are going to be using township property, just a consensus from the township committee that we do have your, thumbs up to move forward with it, I would be appropriate.
Well, let's just go up and down right now. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will make it unanimous.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, good job. All right, we have two ordinances to introduce tonight. One is ordinance 2016-005, authorizing purchase of motor vehicles and heavy equipment for Public Works Department as part of the regular vehicle replacement program, a total amount not to exceed $130,000. And this public hearing is scheduled for May the 16th. That is our next scheduled meeting, 7 p.m. in these chambers. Can I get a motion to introduce? Do we have it first? Are there any comments or questions?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Also, introducing ordinance 2016-006, authorizing the funding of a 2016 capital project for the upgrade of the police department radio system in an amount not to exceed $78,569.80. That will be on May 16th, 7 p.m. in these chambers. Comments, questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Just a comment, that is the final balance amount. That's why it's a funny number to the penny.
That's
So,
all right.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have one piece of the consent agenda, and it is Resolution 2016-060, Rec Department 2016 Spring and Summer Program Fees. Do you have any comments or questions? Robin, while you're here, any major changes to the fees this year of any note?
No, the fees are remaining flat. We may have to do something a little different just for the last week because we are busing kids up to Cornell,
Okay.
which is just a different expense
Okay.
for the municipality, but we're figuring that out.
Okay. Any comments, questions from the dais? If not, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion, Mayor?
Second.
Again, roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
The resolution list, what's left of it here, we'll start with 2016-059, supporting the Click It or Ticket mobilization. And that will take place May 23rd to June 5th of this year. Comments or questions? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
2016-061, authorizing a Chapter 159 amendment to be added to the municipal budget for the 2016 Click It or Ticket grant. Comments or questions or motion? Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Should be a roll call vote because we're actually inserting this an additional $4,500 for the grant. So roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
And finally, Resolution 2016-063, authorizing the submission of a grant application for the 2016 Recreational Trails Grant Project. Comments or questions?
I could briefly tell you, Kevin Ray and John Mance put together the grant application this year. It's up to $25,000, which the town then must match at least 20% of that cost. So the application is for a piece of equipment. Tell them.
It's a tractor with a mower and a broom on it to maintain the active hike and bike trails along with the passive hiking trails on the still natural areas. It's a four-wheel drive tractor.
This is something that was required maintenance as part of our grant for the hike and bike trail. So hopefully this will tie it all together and will be positive for us to be awarded the grant. The grant maximum is $25,000. Our 20% would be $5,000. Actual state contract for this piece of equipment is around $31,000, so it'll cost us about $6,000 if we get the $25,000 grant.
Any comments or questions from the dais? If not, we'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Approval of the bill list. I'll accept a motion to approve the bill list pending the approval of individual invoices.
So moved.
Second.
Call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
New business, Field of Honor, we've already talked about that. Old business, Pony Farm. Have we heard anything from our...
I've not heard anything. Tried to call the other day, got nothing, and I'm not sure where we are with it.
Clarence Dillon Public Library, any still gone?
We're waiting on Sandy.
Yeah,
And Verizon Wireless.
that's a closed session
We
item
have
actually
an
tonight.
executive session to talk about that. All right. Any other new business that we haven't brought up yet? All right, then we will go to public comments for our second time at the Apple here. Does anybody have anything they want to bring up? Seeing none, we'll go to Township Committee comments, realizing that we do have an executive session with 3 topics on it, one of which we will come back out and take a formal vote on. So having said that, let's go to Township Committee comments. Start with Mr. Payne.
Nothing further this evening, Mayor.
Mr. Olson.
Nothing further.
Mr. Jacobs.
Nothing further, Mayor.
All right. I don't have anything either. So I'll take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you in the back room. Microphones.
You can operate the speech.
That's exactly.
You can get the franchise, right?
I'll tell you what, I could certainly scare people who use that property, but.
All right, it is 9:35. We are out of executive session. We do have one more item, and that is Resolution 2016-062, salaries for the employees for the 2016 budget year. Any comments or questions? Now I'll take a motion.
So moved. So moved. Second.
Roll call vote.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's Mr. Payne,
Aye.
Mr. Sin,
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs,
Aye.
Mayor Parker.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, got a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.